Yesterday, I made some changes to my bench setup. I put the blocks underneath my feet to decrease the range of motion that my hips have to go through. So my feet are a little bit higher on the ground, or basically the same level as the bench, because the bench has been put up on these blocks. So now my feet are also on the blocks. I did the first 3 sets of that and I was exhausted. My feet kept sliding. The freaking wood is no grip. So I'm sliding and then I'm having to basically push and pull with my legs to prevent from further sliding. So I was like, well, that's not really helping me. That's actually activating the hamstrings as I'm sliding it back. So after the 3rd set, I was like, okay, I'm really unstable. This is not helping me. So I thought, okay, let's go back to the original setup. I still have the shoes on, so that's a little bit higher, in terms of my shoes. The day that I locked up in my hamstring was the day I was wearing the barefoot shoes. So cold feet, flat shoes, not very high off the ground at all. And so I thought maybe just me staying warm is going to do it. And so I went back to the original setup with the Jordans on instead of the Vivo barefoot shoes. And I also pointed my feet a little bit more straight and less bend in the knee. And I was able to get 2 more sets, and the 2 more sets, the set 4 and set 5 felt better than set 1, 2, and 3 because of the setup change. And you don't want to have your feet sliding around. So I've managed to kind of work something out. My hamstrings felt good today, no troubles at all. So maybe the cold got me the other day. It's really hard to kind of find out after one session, one incident, and find the cause of the thing. And so as a knee-jerk reaction, I changed a bunch of things to try and prevent that from happening again. And in the attempt to fix everything, I reckon I've gone too far and I've actually made the situation worse with the slipping and sliding on the wood. So now I've gone back a step, and let's see how it goes. I mean, this is part of the journey. This is part of the process. Try and work all this out. I mean, obviously, the best thing would be to have a flat concrete, flat ground. I can just put the bench on there and have my feet on there, but it's not the case. Anyway, you got to work around. There's multiple things you have to work around, but that's just the way how it is. You learn, and part of the difficulties of this, I'm kind of discovering the intricacies of bench press and the importance of legs. Man, so many years have gone by, and I failed to see what bench press is about. Bench press is such a full body exercise that I'm almost ashamed to think that all those years went by of me not realizing it. And when I think back, I realize how focused I was on the squat and then the deadlift, and then in my very, very late years, bench press here and there in spurts, I would have progress, and then something would piss me off, or I'd get bored of it and move away. Now I've kind of worked out, and this is kind of the big thing with me. I never wanted to do just an upper body exercise to get hot about bench press, but it's just pecs and freaking shoulders and triceps. But now that I realize it's a full body exercise, man, it's as exciting as squats are or deadlift. I actually feel athletic doing it. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so all of these little tricks and tips that I'm kind of working out myself is only adding fuel to the fire, because it's such a cool exercise, right? Like it's the squat everyday guy has managed to, for once work out how to use his legs in the bench press. And that's really cool to me. I get a bit of a, activation in my quads before I even touch the barbell for the squat, and that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? And I keep thinking about Julius Maddox and all those years ago that I saw him, freaking hell, man. I saw him, I think it was 600 pounds on the squat, and he did a set of 10. Obviously, the guy can bench 600 pounds, probably for a set of 10 anyway. The guy's a monster, but to see him squat that, it was really, really interesting to see that. Obviously, the guy, whatever weighs 150, 200 kilos, whatever he weighs, he's a human, a bear. But to see him squat kind of makes me think he's not just sitting on the bench flaccidly, freaking just laying there and moving his arms about. No, man, there's a lot more stuff going on. And so maybe if you become an absolute monster in the squat and you really master it, maybe some of that will transfer over to the squat. I can see how that happens because of the tension you need to create in the bench press, the quads, the glutes, the core, the arching of the back. All that stuff can be implemented in the squat as well. Think about what you're doing in the squat. You're trying to avoid thoracic flexion. So what you're doing, you're basically sticking your chest out kind of like you're sticking it in the bench press. You're preventing that back from rounding. And what are you doing in the bench press? You're freaking arching. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of similarities there on what we're trying to achieve and, the fight that we're kind of playing against. And so that's kind of really exciting to me that it all kind of, in my mind, feeds back into the squat, feeds back into the deadlift. Think about what the deadlift is. You're trying to prevent that thoracic flexion. What are we doing in the bench press, in the squat? Same thing. Like, no movement is going to have you promote thoracic flexion. You just don't do that. You're always fighting to keep that spinal integrity, that spinal positioning. And so that's what's happening in the bench press. You're not just laying on the bench. That is something that, I just didn't understand until now. And the way I worked this out was I just decided to arch my back. I decided to really arch my back to see how that feels. And then as I was arching my back really, really hard on the bench press, I realized that I was subconsciously also pushing with my legs. And I realized that pushing with my legs helped the arch, and the arch helps the legs. So it was kind of like at the same time, they just both happened. Whereas before, I was lying flat basically on the bench and trying to kick with my legs. And it felt like two completely different movements that I was trying to achieve, and they're completely divorced from each other. You add an arch, all of a sudden those two components become one. You are thrusting your glutes, you are arching your back, you're kicking with your legs, you're thoracically extending at the spine. It's all connected, dude. Like, it is literally a wrestling match. And I like that. And these sessions that I'm able to put in so much freaking volume, again, 5 sets of 20 today, that is a lot of work, man. I cannot see it not helping me everywhere else. And because I'm built the way I am, with these short arms and all of the stuff that's going on with me, I feel like that's why I'm surviving this bench volume so much, because I'm just built for it. Like, everything about it is falling into place. For once, I'm built for it. I'm not built for the squat, even though I love it. And I'm not built for the deadlift, even though I've gotten pretty good at it. I have short arms. So I'm leaning over, and I've tried everything and anything to kind of fight that and kind of get some of that biomechanics back through other maneuvers that I do in the deadlift. Squat, yes, same thing. Bench, dude, everything's falling into place. And that's a really cool feeling to have something actually going your way for once. It's not just a uphill battle. And I think that's what the bench is for me. And so if you think to yourself, wow, how is Ivan surviving all of this? Well, maybe you're surviving squats like a maniac. I can't survive a lot of squats. I think we all have that one thing that we're always going to be biomechanically favored. And the bench is just my thing, even though for many years I didn't care about it. But there you go. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.